Hello and welcome to episode 148 of
Whoop whoop.
Marketing Corner.
Yay.
Boo, 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 boo. Pew, pew. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Did I just kick you?
You just kicked me. You just
Ouch.
kicked me.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, he just kicked me. Now I sound like my daughter. Oh, Hans Loma.
Yeah, he hit me. What's going on? Please don't. Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back.
Thank
Today
you.
we are going to talk about talent profiles.
Yes.
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 And I think it would be interesting also, how much weight do we put in them
Yes.
and things like that. So what we've done, ladies and gentlemen at home, is we've sent each other our talent profiles. And
Yeah.
we have two different
Approaches.
two different methodologies, I guess.
And
that
there's a
we've
million
used.
different approaches
There's a
out there.
ton out there. So
like we have multiple different clients working with this space and stuff. So
Yeah.
So take it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
In that sense. But I just still I think also the reason we're doing, you recently did not too long ago did one, but we also did a project here at Sparkforce recently where we did it on every employee, and I have to say I'm completely blown away.
Yeah.
Like
believer?
I've done it before, like early in my career, but I didn't find it that useful. But this time, like, and I shout out to this is Kenneth, who we done it with from Talent X. He's a Danish wizard. He's such a smart guy. But I'm blown away. I have to say, this is I feel like for me as a leadership, this is like a level up.
Nice.
Like I feel like it's like literally in a game. I feel like somebody gave me a level up.
A cheat code.
Yeah. This is
That's
a
awesome.
game changer.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So we've also, I've used them, a bunch of the companies I've worked at have really relied heavily on them, and I've seen them used in things like the interview process.
Yeah.
So even when I worked at Onamundo, we would have Brick, and
Yeah.
you had to fill that out, and depending on your score, we would ask you certain questions, or maybe we wouldn't invite you to interview,
Yeah.
depending on what your profile showed and what we were looking for. And then we also, when at Onamundo, we did Working Geniuses for at least the marketing team.
Yeah.
And we could see, I think there was like, one of the things that I've seen a couple of times in some companies, right, is like you're very heavy on one set of skills, but maybe very light on the other side. So we would try, when we did a project, it wasn't just like who's responsible, but actually maybe we need a high tenacity profile in there to make sure it's not just a bunch of wanderers just thinking, you need someone to be like, let's get it across the line. Yeah. And we found it actually pretty effective.
Exactly.
And now at Cerriva, we in the commercial leadership team, we've all done Working Geniuses. And it's actually funny, we're all tenacity, but then there's other areas where we have to be more mindful, right? So I think it's important to be mindful of your personality. It's not really to change it. It's sort of work with what you got and make sure you're aware of what other people, where their strengths are and where they're maybe not so strong.
100%. And I think we just did it, right? And we just finished, everyone has had their sessions, and now we took it up at the leadership team because like it also changes the structure of our leadership. Because like, should I dive into some of it just to at least from my side, and then we'll get to how we would look at each other, right? But I think one of the things, so for my profile, I know these like assessments they use different words and stuff, but I think fundamentally, one of the things Kenneth told me is like, it's not about what you're necessarily good at. It's also about what's draining you, right? So like these are the things you get high energy from doing, and these are the things you don't get energy. That doesn't mean doesn't mean you can't do them. It just means like, it will like bore you out or drain you completely.
It's like dragging, it's like pulling teeth to get it done.
So it's not necessarily only what you're good at. There's sometimes quite a strong correlation to what when you're good at, but like also it's not just that. So because like there are things where like, why am I scoring low on charming? Am I not charming? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that.
Right.
Like but I
it's
think
just not your strong point.
It's just not my strong point. I'm just not that charming. But I think one of the things that we found was like in our leadership team, we have like, and I think I'm not gonna, we have two profiles, and one of mine, and I can say Fredrik is the other one, is more like we're very innovative, right? Like I am extremely innovative. Like I'm super innovative. I am super like high scoring on communicative. I'm super high scoring on initiating. And if you've ever listened to a podcast, if you're tuned in for the first time, you have noticed I have a lot of fucking ideas. like
Can confirm.
And I'm like, boom, 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 all the time. My brain is like constantly firing this stuff, right? And it's cool. It's a good thing.
Popcorn brain.
But that also means that, but on the other side of the spectrum, I have very low discipline. That doesn't mean that like I have a very high responsible. So that means I'm very responsible. I take ownership. Like, hey, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna do this. But the discipline to sometimes follow through on all things, not that good. Like I take responsibility for the overall thing, but sometimes discipline is like where I'm lacking, right? So where I'm good is where I surround myself with people who can either not only validate my ideas, but also some people who can support in executing my ideas. And as a leadership team, we're like, okay, so we have 40% of the leadership team who's good at ideas, 40% who's good at validating, and 20% is good at executing. Okay, why? And then when we didn't know this, we would just delegate tasks normally. We'd just like, Casper, you do this, you do this, you do this. And like, that shouldn't be how we did things. It should be more like, Casper, you come up with, like, you take ownership of the conceptualization, like the idea level, and then you pass it on, and then we validate what are we actually doing in here, and then someone else tips in and delegates and makes sure it gets done. And I was like, that's a big unlock. Like, because that's not how we treated things originally. And I think that was one of the biggest, like, at least for me, and we recently discovered this in the leadership team, that's how we need to work together in the floor. So now we just talked about making it, we call it like an assembly line of like, how do we make things happen? Yeah. Because like originally it was just like on one big pot. Now it's like, okay, you're responsible for this part, you're responsible for this part, you're responsible for this part. Yeah. That doesn't mean, of course, like everyone else can get ideas, and it doesn't mean I don't execute on things. It's just like, this is what drains you, this is what makes you strong, and so forth. Like,
yeah. And it's finding all the things that energize people.
Exactly.
And trying to optimize it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I just like, I have to say, that was like, when I heard it, I was like, that makes so much sense. Like that makes so much sense from a business perspective, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we did similarly, like Working Geniuses, and I think mine is actually pretty spot on as well. So it's a little bit different than what you did, but it's trying to find 6 areas where you get energy from, where you're kind of fine with, and then where it's an energy suck and you probably shouldn't be doing. You can do it, but you're not going to enjoy it. Yeah. And I think actually mine's pretty spot on too, because I'm very good at galvanizing people, which is rallying people and inspiring people to do something. So I'm like the strategy, like, here's what we're going to do, everyone, right? Yeah. And then I'm also very high in tenacity, like, let's get it done. How do we push projects across the line? And I don't know if this comes as a surprise, but I can be very structured, and I want people to be held accountable. And I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do? I don't want to hear our thoughts anymore.
But I think a lot of the time we are very similar. And also when I analyze, like, so we both put all of our profiles into, I put it in Claude, Jennifer's ChatGPT.
I also
use
Claude.
Fired. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But
I don't discriminate.
But I think like we are very similar in a lot of things. But I think also where the difference between you and me is probably also that you like, it says like, it's actually funny. She says like, you're gonna skip the why are we doing this phase. And here we're exactly similar. We're like, we both know why we're doing this. Like you and I, when I say an idea, you and I both we're already seeing the future.
Yeah. Like I'm already thinking, how do we do this?
We already, like, but I think when I present to some of my team, sometimes I'm like, I'm 1 year ahead. I'm like, I'm already looking at this is the finished product. I don't like, how do we get there? I'm like, something. We'll
figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. This is where we need to go. And the rest of the team is like, okay, then we need to think about this, and this, and this, and this. And here I think we're kind of similar to a large extent, right? Yeah. But I think like one of the things it says you need clarity up front.
I kind of do though.
I do. That does actually.
At work I do. I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
Like why though?
Yeah.
Jen, can you do it? But why?
Yeah, but also like, because if things change for you, goals or shifting expectations, that will frustrate you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's fair to say. Well, I think I'm usually quite adaptive, but I also like, because I want to get stuff done. Yeah. If we're getting something done and then you change direction on me. Yeah. Then I'm like, well, now I'm not going to get it done. No. When I wanted to get it done, and that can like drain my energy, right? Yeah. I think the other thing that's very interesting, and I was surprised by this, but actually in speaking to you, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, is that I get very frustrated with enabling people.
Yes. But I think I find it really, but I can see that also from our talks. Like I totally, like, you don't, it's not the part that you don't like people or anything like that, but it's more like the part where you have to handhold. Like hand-holding, morale building, like just like, you can do this. Like, fuck, like, you don't want to do that. Like, fuck that shit.
Like, just go do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Go do it. I trust you. Go. Yeah. And I do find in jobs where people are like, but what do I do now? And what do I do now? I'm just like, I hired you because
Yeah, go figure it out.
You will do it. Just do it. I don't care how it gets done. I just need it done. Yeah. But yours I think is actually very spot on, right? You are very innovative. You have a ton of ideas, but sometimes losing focus because there's so many ideas in that brain of yours.
100%.
And like following through on stuff. I think, as an example, was it a year ago where like we're going to change our logo for the podcast? And you're like, I'm on it, Jen.
I got it.
Jen. Just leave it with me.
Yeah.
It's still the same image we've had for 6 years. It's fine. We look good, but it's
so
funny.
spot on.
But it's funny, and it's we had. I remember when I was out on a Monday, we had like a brainstorming sesh of like how we're gonna turn this into this big platform.
Yeah, we were like, the podcast is gonna be the biggest in the world. We had all these ideas, and we had a lot of good ideas, but I didn't follow through on like I think I followed through on one thing or something, right?
I mean, I'm also responsible, and. But it was just funny because we do, I think when we get in the same room, we're like, yeah. But then life
I think
happens.
that's also like, sometimes I can think like, that's also what makes us good at podcasting is, we can talk about stuff. We don't really have to commit to that much. It's not like, yes, we have to commit to another episode or whatever, but it's like, it stops here, right? Like,
but with the podcast, right, it's funny because I will come with notes, right? And I have notes for me, and then I have notes for you.
Yes.
Because I know you're not going to read 4 pages of notes. So I'm like, I literally take my notes and I say to ChatGPT, make a Casper-friendly version. And it's like, bullet points. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm very structured, and I'm like, here we go. This is what we're going to talk about. And you just rock up with your chocolate milk, and you're like, what are we talking about today?
I'm ready to go. But that's literally, I just need the topic. As soon as the topic, then I already know where your head's at. I'm this is where Jen's going. Okay, cool.
And I'll pull out a stat, right? Like I have a stat here. I have a study I've read, but
I already know what you want to talk about, what you want to focus on. Like, I think it's a good example of an opposite. I love him. So, and I don't want to tell anyone's profile, but like as an example, we have Johannes on our team. Right? Johannes has been here forever.
Shout out to Johannes.
Massive shout out to Johannes. He's awesome. But one of the things he needs, he's very contextual. So that, and in this world, it means he needs a lot of context to understand why he needs to do something. So when you tell me, like when I say we need to do if you said we need to do AI, I'd be like, fuck yeah. We need to do AI, and I'm already like,
do an AI.
You need agents for this, you need to do this, and he's like, why? Why do we need AI? Like, what are we supposed to do with them? What's the use case? I'm like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like, and
those people drain me.
Yeah,
the discerners.
And I think it's important, like, because like, you need those kind of people, and for different, and it also depends on what role they have and stuff. But what you need to figure out essentially is just how do you best work together with them. And of course, there's also some part of their organization. What do you need in this organization? Because like you can't have, as an example, Sparkforce would be shit if it was just 30 Caspers.
Yeah,
nothing would get done. There would be a lot of really good ideas,
so
and clients would be like, "This is awesome." The kickoff would be amazing, but after 3 months, everyone would be like, "So what's happening?"
And you'd be completely bankrupt with chocolate milk invoices.
Oh yeah, gosh, oh holy, like we wouldn't pay invoices.
That's true. They wouldn't get paid.
No. So like you need a good constellation, and it's more. I think the important part is more like understanding how you work together. Like how do you optimize, and like what are the parts where like if you give this task to this person, if that's 50% of their workload, you're gonna kill him. Like they're not gonna love it. Like, and also like if I need Johannes to do something for me, this is what I need to give him a little bit more context that I might normally do in order. But then once he gets it, he's totally on board and he delivers it, right?
Yeah. And that's, I think, with the thing, and this is also very much my personality, is that one of the areas of frustration for me are wanderers.
Yeah.
And those are the people who are like, I want to ponder. And I'm just like, oh my God, can we please get going? Like it's the wandering spirit. And what was really funny is I worked in a company where in the executive leadership team, pretty much everyone was a wanderer.
Oh no,
or
really?
What's the other one? Discerning. God. So these are the two. Like I'm wandering, and I'm also looking to shoot down ideas.
Yeah.
And then there was only 2 of us, me and the salesperson, who were tenacity, who were like, can we please get stuff done? Yeah.
And that's
it was
exactly
really frustrating.
Like, I think, and that's again one of the things where it shines. Again, that's we're quite similar because like it also makes you impatient, right? So we're super impatient, right? Like, and
I am not known for my patience.
No, I'm not known. Like, I think my family, like, there's something internally in my family I'm quite patient with. Like when it's teaching stuff to kids and stuff, I can be quite impatient. But when it comes to everything business-wise, I am massively impatient, right? Like I'm just like, can it get done tomorrow? Why not today? Right? But I also think an interesting part and something I talk with the leadership team and also with the Kenna guys, like part of what has made SparkForce a success, and it's not to pat ourselves on the back, is that you need those drivers. You need those people who have ideas and start things. And sometimes it's not the right things they start, and sometimes it's not the right ideas.
Yeah.
But if you only have a leadership team or like a group together that are only discerning, I think they explained it one part, Divya said it really well on her team. She was like, if you give me a blank piece of paper, I will be like, I don't know how to fill it out because I don't know what's supposed to be on this blank piece of paper. I would be like, here's a lot of ideas. I just wouldn't do them. I would say, here's a lot of stuff.
Go do it.
But if you gave her a piece of paper with a lot of cool stuff, she would get all of the shit done.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
So she'd be very high.
So if you only have a team of those people, you will have a blank piece. And I think I would love to I don't know how you, but I would love to understand leadership organizations sometimes and be like, if you gave me a talent profile of, let's say, Novo Nordisk's leadership team, let's say that. I don't know anything about Novo Nordisk really, but I would love to see that, right?
Yeah.
To understand, okay, this is why these things are happening. Because I think you could read a room. I can't help to wonder. I'm not into stock trading. My popcorn brain is going crazy right now. But
it's happening in live.
It's happening live. You're really into it.
You're into
but
it.
I can't help to wonder. This should inform stock trading. Because if you see a leadership team at a company where they're all let's say they're all starters and all innovators, but there's no one with discipline, no one that takes actually executes. So only me. Let's say there's only versions of some versions of us, right? That would not be healthy either.
No.
Right? Then you'd be like, this company sounds really good, but they're not doing things.
Yeah.
And that would probably be the case. But you could also have the opposite of and because you see a lot of these corporates where are they ever doing things? And that's probably maybe because they have a leadership team with just people who are just assessing risk all day and being like, hey, there's not, very analytical and very thoughtful and stuff. That's really healthy sometimes, but it's just if they're not starting, they're not moving.
And I think that ultimately it just points to the fact that there's space for everyone. And I think the dreamers get maybe put up on a pedestal of you think of your Steve Jobs and, and it's like, oh my God, look at these thinkers. But you're absolutely right. These thinkers would be nowhere without executors.
Yeah.
And then discerners coming and going, are you sure that's the right, of all these decisions, let's figure out the right one that is the right thing that we should be doing. Let's put it into context and let's give it to someone who's going to drive it across the line.
Exactly.
It just shows that the loudest voice in the room or the person who gets the most attention is not always, it's not just down to them.
No, exactly.
These wonderkins who are getting everything done. They have a team of people around them, and the right companies, I guess, are the ones who are putting these pieces together, saying, "Okay, I need someone who's going to."
But I really think someone let's use Steve Jobs. I haven't looked at his profile. This one he's probably been analyzed a bunch.
I'm sure he has,
right?
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is just off the top, and this is more based on the words they use, Kennedy uses, but more he would probably be really high and innovative and really high communicative at least, right? Because he was a great communicator, right?
Yes.
So, he could explain,
masterclass.
and he was always ahead, right? He was always he wasn't talking about songs in your it was he was already ahead.
Yeah.
When everyone was talking iPod, he was like, no, fuck it, iPod. That's not. We're talking iPhones, right?
Yeah.
He was already ahead, right? So he was already way over there. But I can imagine on a day to day, he would be like, well, I don't.
Well, remember they also tried to do an Apple car.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the Google glasses, and so there are bad ideas that
course.
come out.
Yeah.
It's and I think the good ones are the ones that you see because those are the ones who got executed on.
Yes.
So I imagine his vision board would have been mental.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's picking and choosing. Oh, this is the thing that became a thing. But you're absolutely right. He is the kind of poster child for marketing.
Yes.
The way he tells a story, the way he tells a narrative, and I'm sure he had a bunch of people around him also kind of steering, because I've heard he was not very pleasant to work with.
No, I don't think as an example, I don't necessarily think he's very empathetic, right?
No.
And when I say empathetic, and at least from when I got it explained, I'm actually quite high on that, which is unlike a normal founder.
Yeah.
But it's not because I'm a nice guy. It just means I understand people's emotions, apparently.
Yes, that's what.
So I'm the kind of guy. This is all according to this kind of guy. I'm a kind of guy where I'm walking the room and then I instantly know the vibe. I instantly know everyone's feeling. I'm also the kind of guy when I hire people, I know in 30 seconds if you're the right hire or not.
Yeah.
I don't technically I don't need a lot more, and that doesn't mean I'm always right. But 9 out of 10 times I'm actually right about these things, and that's very normal. Elon Musk founders, they're not that high on that necessarily. They have a lot of other things. They are a little bit more. I'm not that competitive. That surprised me a little bit actually. I'm a bit, but not that high.
Yeah.
And I think someone like Steve Jobs is probably not good at empathetic part.
Yeah, but they also say, right, like most founders have a touch of psychopathy because if
Yeah.
you do care about people,
Yeah.
then you sometimes don't succeed, right?
No, fuck no.
I don't think I'm a big fan of that, but
No, exactly.
Yeah.
No, exactly. But that might also be what separates them, right? So who knows?
yeah,
But
the ruthlessness,
yeah,
the ability to be ruthless.
I understood. I was funny when I was looking at it. Like I can be quite good at that, but I think that's not my natural habitat, so to speak, right? I think I can't remember. It was analyzing it. I was like, I can do it, but I can't. But I don't necessarily always enjoy it, right? And some ones are like. Yeah, because I think one of the things it looks at is like what's your natural behavior and where is your disempowerment. Like where is like, so for as an instance, I think it's like So for instantly, I'm a top performer when it comes to when it comes to all these initiating and stuff like that. But I can become, if I work with people who are neurotic or submissive within initiating, that can drain me a lot, right? So that can, I get like, oh. And just like you explained, when you meet people who say no, you're like, okay, sure. And your natural habitat is like to gravitate away from that, right? I just find that so interesting.
And I think with me also, like the enablement, that like what you were kind of hinting at, because I like to think that I'm, compassionate and things like that. But I think to sports, right? So I'm high on galvanizing. So I'm like, come on, guys, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Let's all go and everyone do their bit to hit this
let's
goal.
go,
right?
team.
Go team. But if I needed in sport where someone's like, can you help me? And I'd be like, no, that's not, I can't help you, and rally everyone. I can't, and I kind of see that more and more once it's almost like, it's like with, you say, once you name it, you own it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now I know that, okay, maybe I'm not impatient. I'm just, that does not interest me.
Yes.
So I'm just going to go over here to the thing that interests me.
And I think that's for me also the real, one of the unlocks is just like, it's not wrong. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah, there's not the perfect profile.
There's not a perfect profile. It's just like you as a person just need to understand that these are the things that drain you. If you only do things that are draining to you, you're not going to enjoy life. You're not going to enjoy your work. And you're most likely not going to be good at it.
No, exactly, because you're not enjoying it. Yeah.
And I think one of the things I knew this, but it's like sometimes good to talk about. It's just like somewhat like I'm really not good when somebody constricts my freedom. And it like feels like very libertarian, but it's not like that. It's more like if somebody tells me, hey, you cannot do that.
Can't do that, Casper.
That's not. So that naturally makes sense that I decided to make my own company because like there's very few people who can tell me what I can do and can't do.
That's so true, because I remember when we started this podcast, you were working for people, and there were times where you were, I think it's safe to say, pretty frustrated with how things were going. And now it's just like,
and it's because some people were telling me what I could and couldn't do.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, that's not.
You're not the boss of me.
You're not a boss of me.
You're not the boss of me. Now no one is the boss of you.
No, exactly. And that it brings me back to the point of saying, like, I think we talked about earlier, it's like, what do I do when SparkForce is done one day? And I'm like, I don't think I can go back to being part of like an employee somewhere. Like I maybe, but I'm not sure. This is probably not going back.
Yeah,
like,
probably not. Yeah. I could imagine it would be very hard.
Yeah. So I think it's one thing I was thinking about in terms of like, have you ever used this with your team in any way?
Yes.
Like,
yeah. So at Onamundo, the whole marketing team did these kind of working geniuses.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tice who drove the initiative.
Oh yeah.
And it was really, really insightful, because then it's like, okay, this is why I gravitate towards these projects, or this is why I get frustrated with certain people, right? And it wasn't because they're bad people, it's because they're wanderers.
Yeah.
So we got to let the wanderers do their thing. And then we got to let the discerners do their thing, but then we're going to bring it into the, other people, and we have to let the innovators innovate, let the innovators and wanderers go.
Yeah.
And then discerners get in there and make sure they're not doing anything crazy. And then I come in and go, okay, how do we implement this? How do we, and it really helped us. I think, of course, it helped us work better together, but I think ultimately it helps us understand each other a lot better and have more patience with each other.
Yeah.
So we would even have meetings where I'm like, hold on, there's no innovators in this meeting. We need an innovator. Can we bring in someone who
That's
helps?
a really good point.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes it's just like, okay, well, I can imagine having like a creative brainstorm with only like people who are like
Like me.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Can we please?
Please.
And actually, it's a potential friction. I gave ChatGPT
Yeah.
our profiles. It says pace mismatch. You. Let's explore more ideas. Me. Can we just get it done, please? Focus A. Pivots often. B. Wants commitment.
I love it. It's so
Perception.
true. Yeah.
B. I'm B. B sees A as scattered. A sees B as forceful and impatient. Confirm or deny, Casper? Would you say that's an accurate description of our relationship?
I love
No,
it.
but I think ultimately it comes down to being more patient with yourself and being patient with people.
Yeah.
So suddenly the person who I was like, this person gets nothing done. Like, I don't know if I want them on my team. Now I'm like, they're the innovator. They're the discerner. Okay, so they're not just like poo-pooing every idea. They're looking for that context. They're looking for, okay, now I understand this person
Can
better.
be analytical, strategic thinking. Like,
and suddenly you see the benefit of that behavior rather than finding it annoying.
and then you also, at least in my case, what I really find is that then what I will use this for, or at least try to use it for, is also to try to give them tasks that are empowering them, like that are making them, that are using their talents the best, that they're giving them energy.
Yep.
Instead of taking someone who's an initiator or starter and saying like, hey, go do the finances and go care about details and be disciplined about it. Like, ugh, right?
Yeah.
Like, I won't do that. Then I need to give them like, hey, we need to come up with some ideas and concepts around this space, how we solve this. Go do that. Then once you have some ideas, I'll put in someone else who can validate those ideas, and then we'll put in someone else who can help it execute.
Yeah.
Like, perfect.
Perfect.
Right?
And everyone gets to do the thing they like to do.
Yes, exactly.
Which is good. Question.
Yes.
As we round up, would you ever not hire someone because of their personality profile before you met them? Like before, in a screening process.
So you're asking if I did a personality profile and I haven't met them, and then based on their profile,
Disqualify them.
I maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
It's a tough one,
It's
isn't
tough.
it?
I'm not
It's a tough
100%
one.
sure, but
Yeah.
I could see, because like one thing we're actually going to do is that we're going to map out all our different roles, and then and start to get an idea of like how does the future, like what are some of the things that we need in these, like what are good in these roles, right? So when we hire in the future, we can be a bit more like saying, okay, historically speaking, and what we've learned so far is that these people thrive in these roles when they score high on these things. So if I get a profile in where it's like, let's say, I don't know if I can give an example, but let's just say for fun, you would replace me, right? Let's say we were supposed to replace me. Well, maybe it's actually a bad example, because like if you were to replace me, it would probably be maybe at some point one day good to not have a starter, because you're at a different, like it needs to be someone who's good at another parts of it, maybe. But anyways, I could see a world where it definitely influences. If it's a fully percent, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not necessarily ruling it out, because I can see a world where if you get someone who needs a lot of context for an area that doesn't necessarily normally gets a lot of context, let's say that, or something, right? Maybe
Or someone needs a lot of enablement. And
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
I just need you to own something.
Yeah.
We have, so in 2 jobs that I've worked at, I won't say which ones, but we have disqualified people just based on their personality.
Yeah.
So that was sort of, we'd get applications in, every single one would have to fill out something, and that was the first.
Yeah.
Because we're getting 300, 400 applications for one job. You can't go
Exactly.
through every single one.
No,
So
no,
we'd
no.
say like, fill this out, and then it would be either the TT38 or the brick or
exactly.
all of these other the working geniuses, whatever it might be. And then based on that, we decide whose CV we wanted to look at.
Exactly.
Which, for better or for worse, sometimes you have to narrow things down.
Yes.
And so that's one of the things we did. And I
Yeah.
remember actually having a conversation with my manager. We had 2 candidates and we could not decide. And it came down to their personality profile that they did. And
Yeah.
that's how we ended up, that person is still working at the company today. So I guess we made the right choice, but
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think like one of the things I was told is that like I have we always say like we call it gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
But it's not actually, it's just my talent profile. That's my gut feeling, right? And this
Yeah.
whole knowing people. And it was like one of the things I was actually told was just like, Casper, you just need to trust your gut feeling, because your gut feeling is actually all these are the things you know stuff about. So you just need to trust it more. And whenever you don't trust your gut feeling, that's when things don't go right.
Yeah, I definitely.
And I've had a few hirings, looking back, like not most of them, 99 luckily have been really good, but a few of them have been wrong. And those are the times where I've been a little bit like, I'm not sure about this, but I trust you guys.
Yeah.
And I should not have done that.
Yeah, the ones where I've ignored my gut, but I'm like, on paper, they're great.
Yes.
On paper, they answered all the right questions, but I just the vibes were off.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that person ends up being a nightmare.
I will never do that again. Like, I'm just like, now I have to just like, my gut is not there.
Yeah.
Like, there's something off.
Yeah.
I just have to. So.
And that part of that, again, is understanding yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Cool. So to wrap it up.
I hope it was useful.
Yeah, go check out your personality.
But check it out. Like, it's not a horoscope. This is real stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you need to do it with a professional. Do it with someone who knows their shit. So it's not just like a quick survey online. That's not what I think you need to do. But I find it really useful for team composition, understanding yourself, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Super useful.
Absolutely. Great.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck out there.
Bye.
Bye.